Zadon Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Gang of Secrets. But before we actually do that, can we just talk about the fact that, honestly, I was kind of surprised. I wasn't necessarily expecting Alya to be the one to actually find out first who Marinette was. But she is. And that's honestly really interesting. The thing is that a lot of people, including myself, early on thought, okay, more than likely, Alya is going to figure out that Marinette is Ladybug. Somehow she is going to find out, whether it's being told or she just finds out on her own before Adrian does. That was pretty much a guarantee. Most fans agreed on that. But with Gang of Secrets and knowing the fact that Alex would have to know who they are in order to do her job as the time-traveling Miraculous holder, it's kind of surprising that she really didn't find out first. I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's just like, yeah, that's kind of weird. I think the real reason for why Alex doesn't actually know or will not know is because of the fact that in order for her to time travel, she can only really time travel once while she's a teenager. And then as soon as and then she's basically useless for the rest of that time. And basically what she has to do is she literally has to go back in time, have Hop, I don't remember what his name is, and then grab whoever she's grabbing and bring them back. Or whatever she's going to be doing with the whole power of Bunnix. It's honestly a bit interesting to say the least, and a bit wondering how exactly she's going to handle it moving forward. She's not really ready yet, which is kind of interesting to say the least. So, yeah. Oh, but that's not the point. Let's actually talk about this episode. So, first off, the episode starts off with Alya and the other girls basically talking about how they're really upset that Marinette isn't telling them what just happened in Truth and Lies, and is basically keeping some secret from them, and is being really distant. And we know that the reason that she's distant is more because of the fact that of what happened with Luca, but at the same time, it's just like, ugh. And apparently, they only don't know because of the fact that, well, Julika found out from Luca, which is honestly really sad that Marinette is so distraught over this that she doesn't even feel like she can tell her best friends what is going on with her. It's devastating. Especially when dealing with a breakup, you should not be alone. No matter what kind of relationship breakup you're dealing with. Some secrets should not be kept. One of which being the fact of a breakup. That's one of the most devastating things that you can have. And especially in a world where frickin' Hawkmoth is a thing, you just can't deal with that. You have to have someone taking care of that. But on top of that, Marinette is so distraught over it that all she can do is basically just keep running around Paris, trying to find some way to fill her mind, because she can't live with the idea that she's lost him, and it's hurting her way more than it should. And like I said, that can be devastating for a person. So, yeah. But obviously, Alya and the others show up and are checking in with Marinette. Marinette's a bit distracted, again, because of all that's going on. And they almost find out everything. Finding the actual Miraculous box hidden underneath the little house that she has. And obviously Marinette has a breakdown, basically telling them that they should go away, that she doesn't need them, and all of this, that. And it's devastating. She's hurting. Honestly, I'm surprised that she didn't get akumatized throughout this entire episode, or at least that there was an Akuma that was coming straight towards her, or that Hawkmoth would at least attempt to go after her, because she is broken. She is really broken. So, yeah. It's hard, like I said, and understanding that is very important. But with that comes something else. With them finding out who she is, or almost finding out who she is, and sending them away, obviously all of them get akumatized. Marinette puts the box away in her crafts thing, which honestly, I have to say, I was not expecting the crafts thing to actually be like an actual box that has a secret code in it. That was actually really interesting. But anyways, the others get akumatized. They have their huge little reason for why they're upset. Juleka continues to mumble, which that is bothering me. That Juleka keeps mumbling recently. I can't shake the feeling that something is going on with her, and that mumbling is gonna have big implications moving forward. So, needless to say, I'm intrigued to see how that goes forward, and yeah. There's a lot to that, and I'm kind of excited, to say the least, to see how exactly they're going to handle what exactly is going on there. But after they get akumatized, they go after Marinette. Trix uses illusion and causes mayhem, which I just have to say, it's just awesome to see more and more of the Kwamis as they basically are trying to use their powers outside of having an owner, and it just causes complete mayhem. So far, we've only seen 2 of these, and it's Plague and frickin' like I said, Plague and frickin' Trix, which it just makes sense that those 2 are the ones that are causing the mayhem. And it makes me wonder what exactly is going to happen with others. Are we ever going to see them trying to use their powers solo? It honestly would be very interesting. I could actually see Kalki also being one of those who tries and does the power by herself, himself. I don't remember which one they actually use for their pronoun. Anyways. So, like I said, Trix uses his power. Marinette goes off to face off against them. They have a few scuffles, this, that, and the other thing. More and more power. Luckily, not enough people actually get taken down for Alex to actually go back in time, which I actually have to say is pretty interesting. Alex doesn't need that many people, actually, to go back in time, or she didn't. But now she seems to need a lot more. She actually touched a lot of people in order to go back in time in this episode, but she never did, which I find just a bit odd, to say the least. Basically, everyone else, we get to see how they use their powers in this new format, and it's honestly really interesting. But the fact that Alex doesn't just confuses me to a degree. Well, I guess it is true that Alex did actually find out that it was because of the fact that she used Cat Noir to go back in time, but I don't know. Oh, there's so much there, and it's really interesting, and I want to talk more about it. So I guess it does actually make sense that she didn't actually get the chance to go back in time. But instead we get to see Marinette break Alia out of being akumatized. And I feel like the only reason that she's able to do that is because of the fact that Alia and her have such a connection. And because of the fact that at that moment, I think that Alia knew, like deep down, that Marinette and Ladybug were the same person. Marinette is kind of giving a whole bunch of these hints and telling her about this stuff. And it's honestly really interesting to see how exactly she handles it and knows that has this connection with Marinette that's so great that with the two of them, they can break out of an akumatization. It's honestly amazing. And also, I think that the other reason is that the Akuma is split across the five of them. It's one object that holds all of their akumatizations. So the fact that one of them is able to break out actually makes a lot of sense. But I also think that if they actually did something like that, it would actually be harder and harder for someone to break out of an akumatization the fewer people are actually connected to it. So at the point of maybe 2 people, it would basically become impossible. We'll have to talk more about that in the future if we actually ever get to see multiple people getting akumatized again. We've only ever seen 3 people get akumatized as time before this point, so I don't know. We'll see. Also, they didn't try to break them out of akumatization at that point, so that's another thing. But Alia becomes Trix. They go off, save the day, bing, boom, bada bada, whatever. That's not the important part. The important part comes at the end, when Marinette finally tells them exactly what's been going on with her and Luca, and how she doesn't feel like she can even be in a relationship right now. But she doesn't tell them everything. And Alia is able to tell this, which is honestly a bit insane, knowing that she knows something is off. I think that it is mostly because of what Ladybug said to her, but at the same point, it's more than that. Knowing these secrets is dangerous, but at the same time, it makes sense. It makes sense that she's able to work through this and to fight, and figure out these things. She has a reporter brain, and the fact that she's able to realize instantly that Marinette is Ladybug is honestly really important. And I also love that when Marinette finally tells her, rather than being like, "What? Are you serious? What? That's insane." All she does is just comfort her friend, because at that point she knows. Everything actually just clicks. That we don't actually hear her actually say these things, but in truth, she is probably thinking in that moment the disappearances, the fact that she would select her and Nino as the first 2 people to use the Akuma, or to use the Miraculouses. Why she would then choose Max, Kim, Luca, Kagami even. To a degree, choosing Kagami and Luca are big things that actually say that she is Marinette. And it's honestly a bit interesting, to say the least. Even having her be Multi-Mouse, pretending that Marinette is Multi-Mouse in order to trick Cat Noir, it makes sense to her, because only Marinette could actually understand all of the powers of the Miraculouses, because she is Ladybug and she's literally given these powers to other people. And using the Fox Miraculous to actually pull that trick off, it makes sense that it was her. No one else probably could even handle doing that, let alone handle being Ladybug, Multi-Mouse, Cat Noir, and just all of those different forms that she took on during that episode. It's kind of insane, to say the least. Just all of that power that is within Ladybug is honestly just crazy. But what does this mean for the future of Miraculous? That is the thing that we need to ask. This is a theory channel, for crying out loud. So what exactly is going to be happening moving forward with Miraculous? Well, first off, I think Olga is going to be having a much larger part to play in the entire series. Obviously, currently we don't have any episodes between Gang of Secrets and Furious Food that have actually been announced, which, seriously, we need some of those episodes to start coming out. I know that Queen Banana, Guilt Trip, and Gabriel Agreste are probably more likely to be coming out sooner. Specifically, I want to say that Guilt Trip and Queen Banana are probably going to be coming out first. Thank you, Gloob, for being a pain in the ass, but with that, it does bring up another question. What exactly is going to be happening moving forward? And honestly, after this whole part, I actually wouldn't be surprised if RTS actually plans to do this whole situation where every single week on Saturdays, they are going to be releasing the new episodes. And in chronological order, because this is a season that really does need that. You can kind of tell just by looking at these things that all of these episodes kind of bleed together. Like I said, Lies and Truth are literally the same episode, just taking place in different parts of the city. We get to see them from two different points of view. Basically, seeing Ladybug's perspective and then seeing Adrian's perspective. And then, obviously, Gang of Secrets pretty much just focuses on Marinette and seeing how she actually handles this. Which, speaking of which, I actually really want there to be an episode that focuses, like, episode 4, I want there to actually get to see Adrian's perspective on this. Because I know that it's probably not going to happen, but Adrian also just had a really bad breakup. And the fact that he is... I just can't shake the feeling that he's going to have a really tough time moving forward. The fact is that he's trying to connect with someone in any way possible, but someone who he trusts more than anyone is kind of turning a blind eye to him. He knows why, but at the same time, it's to a degree that is really hard to handle. I really want to see how he's actually handling this, because these guys are kids. Being a teenager is a hard time, especially after a breakup, especially after one that is pretty dang serious. I mean, yes, they did not last long. These relationships did not last long. But the fact is that, especially as teenagers, especially when it's someone that you actually really care about, these feelings are hard, really hard to deal with. If you actually think that they could be the one, it can be devastating. Yes, absolutely they were not the ones, but at the same point, it's hard. It is a hard situation to deal with. So, I don't know. But I think someone needs to be there for Adrian. And I don't know who exactly that is going to be. Yes, obviously Marinette needs it a bit more because of the fact that she is now carrying the weight of not just Ladybug, but also being the guardian. That is a lot of pressure to be put on one person, especially a teenager who's dealing with high school. The fact is that more than likely her parents want her to go to college or something. even if it's just to get an associate's, because let's be honest, even though Marinette is working and is able to actually get jobs at her age that will actually pay for her future, the fact is that many parents still fear that if you don't go to college, you're not going to be able to do anything. Having that backup of having at least an associate's degree really does set things up so that you can actually handle things in the future and maybe get a few more jobs. Having a bachelor's degree is even better, but still, that's mostly in America, but I'd imagine that things are at least similar in France. So, I don't know. There's a lot to it, and we'll need to see how things move forward in the future. But that's important. That Marinette that these people actually understand what's going on, because being a teenager is hard. It is really hard, harder than you think. And yes, absolutely, life gets harder than high school. College is really tough, but the point is that at that age, it can feel like the world is destroying itself. And with Marinette and Ladybug, or Marinette and Adrien, the world is literally falling apart. And if they don't do anything, then then the world will be destroyed. So, yeah. But with this first step, with Alya now knowing who Marinette is, I think that lays the groundwork for something new. I think that it lays the groundwork for more than just her knowing. I don't think that Nino is going to know who Ladybug is, but I could see Nino actually talking to Adrien and learning more about how it affects him. Basically being the Alya for Adrien. It makes sense. But on top of that, I actually think that pretty much everyone in the Gang of Secrets is actually going to know by the end of the episode, or by the end of some point this season, maybe not this season, but at some point in the future, I think that all of them are going to know who at least Ladybug is. Alex, we obviously know, she will eventually know, because obviously older Alex knows, and she's not surprised at all. She's known for a while at this point. And I think that that's actually a really important detail to know, is that Alex knows something. I think that the signal that Marinette is going to actually give her the Miraculous may be her first piercing or her first tattoo. I don't know. There's a lot that could actually signify that Alex is ready to actually take on the Bunny Miraculous, but she's kind of a special case, so we'll talk about that more as things come up. But there is one last thing I want to briefly discuss. The fact that Marinette spends most of her time this episode actually being Ladybug. She doesn't feed Tiki once throughout the entire episode, and starting to lead me to believe that maybe she is about ready to actually become her true self and actually learn how to actually use her power constantly. I think she is literally on the edge where she will soon be able to activate that new form when she uses her Miraculous. And the thing is that we know that that will be happening within the next few episodes. Let me actually make sure of that. Yes, so within two episodes, at some point during those two episodes, we are going to be getting an actual explanation to the outfit, chronologically. Obviously, not necessarily other ways, but because more than likely, like I said, we'll be seeing Queen Banana and Guilt Trip coming from Glue before too long. So, we'll talk about those when they come out, but the point is that chronologically, there has to be at least two episodes there are 2 more episodes, and then it's Furious Fu. So, yeah, knowing that, I'm honestly a bit worried, to say the least, to see how things are going to be moving forward. And like I said, it's quite possible that RTS is actually has already gotten most of the Miraculous episodes. The fact is that they're in Switzerland, which is very close to France, so the idea of them getting not only the French versions, but getting it this early actually makes a lot of sense, and that they're going to actually have all of the episodes out chronologically very soon, with more than likely some announcement later this week, basically leaking at least the names for the next 2 episodes and revealing that they are 4 and 5 chronologically. Maybe they'll also say that they also have Furious Fu, and that basically the next few weeks they're going to have all of that, which honestly I'm really excited for. But there's lots left to see, and needless to say, I'm excited, to say the least, to see how exactly this whole story moves forward. But anyways, guys, this has been a bit of a long video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to leave a like, leave your thoughts and theories down in the comments below. If you are going to leave a theory, make sure to say theory review somewhere in your comment. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and ring that notification bell, because apparently only about 30% of the people who watch these videos are actually subscribed. So, seriously, subscribe. We do a lot of Miraculous content, and I don't think people actually understand that just because I do other content means that I don't care about that Miraculous is a minor thing. Miraculous is not a minor thing. It's just that I had to pick up some other things while Miraculous was on hiatus. Okay? So, yeah. There will be more Miraculous content coming soon, so please subscribe and ring that notification bell. Of course, if you do want to support the channels even more, then definitely head down to the description and check out all of our links down there, including our other our social medias, and ways that you can support us financially, including our merch store, our book, and of course the Patreon, which a big thank you to our current patron, Sheedy. But anyways, guys, I've been Electric Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on!